Martel Holt has finally spoken out after years of rumors, internet conjecture, and startling pictures of the love and marriage. The Huntsville star has confirmed the long-held suspicions of fans about those inexplicable auto accidents. Yet the reality is more sad, personal, and dark than anyone could have dreamed. You won't believe the people engaged and the admissions made. For Martel Holt, making headlines is not novel. Whether it's from his unhappy marriage or his well-known reality TV career, the man has always been the target of debate. This time it is different. This concerns something far more serious than love triangles, custody conflicts, or cheating scandals. For years, quiet conversations about Martel's involvement in multiple auto accidents, either disregarded, never fully explained, or linked to shocking behind-the-scenes drama, have persisted. We're exploring the reality of those incidents today, the ones fans saw but that the media hardly ever covered in depth. What happened in reality? Why were details kept under wraps? And why is Martel now deciding to confirm the rumors? At 45, we will walk you through each major event, expose the chronologies, share testimonials, and analyze what Martel has and has not said in official remarks. Sit down. By the end of this video, Martel Holt will be seen in a quite different light. Trust me, this is not the portrayal of him that has ever been shown. Those close to him will provide some amazing disclosures, witness reports, and confirmed facts. Let me take you right back to 2017, the year before Marriage and Love in Huntsville. Martel Holt was still mostly known in Alabama for his real estate business and his apparently perfect marriage to Melody when first emerged. Though the cracks were already showing up behind the scenes, it was something hardly newsworthy that had people talking. Martel allegedly had a minor car accident that many discounted as inconsequential, but it wasn't. This is where it gets strange. A local Huntsville blogger claimed at the time that Martel had been seen angrily confronting police personnel at the scene of a collision close to Memorial Parkway. Online no damage images ever surfaced and no official police report was ever made public. Martel was clearly agitated, sweating, according to witnesses. Given that he had only recently been in a minor accident, his reaction seemed extreme. It was silently forgotten, that incident. Though they never quite stopped, there were just whispers, no charges, no headlines. Later on, when show viewers noted how cautious Martel always seemed to be when driving during filming, as though he didn't want to be seen driving carelessly or at all, they even grew louder. The truly terrible thing here is people close to the Holts say Martel started having inexplicable anxiety some months following the first incident. He avoided nighttime drives and even paid private drivers to cover events he would have usually attended alone. As you will see in the following section, even if that seems to be a small detail, it was really the beginning of a far more extensive pattern. Here, though, things start to get interesting. A former Martel's co-worker from those real estate days claims that he was involved in several accidents and that the next one included persons other than bent metal. At this point, the story gets rather dark. By 2019, Love and Marriage Huntsville had become rather well known. From a local businessman, Martel Holt had evolved into a national TV personality with everything on show. Many viewers were not aware that during the height of season 2 filming, Martel was involved in a second, much more severe car accident. Though there was no mention of it on the show, no social media post, and no outward indication of concern from Martel, insiders say it shook her inner circle. Late at night, just outside of Dakar, Alabama, a cousin of one of Martel's childhood friends claimed in a since-deleted social media post that Martel's car had swerved off the road. Authorities never confirmed it, but the post said he knocked a guardrail and alcohol was mentioned as a contributing factor. The internet is never forgetful. The post vanished quickly, and shortly after, the same family member totally erased their account. As screenshots surfaced in Reddit threads and fan forums, users sought responses. Why is Martel acting brand fresh when we all saw those accident photos floating around in 2020? It was one Redditor asked, why was it buried? The weird part is that a black luxury SUV with a cracked windshield and a crushed passenger side did leak a grainy picture. Though the plate was hidden, viewers noted a striking similarity to the vehicles Martel had observed on the program. Martel still said nothing, though. No denial, no proclamation. You would think that would bring an end to it, but this is what generated more questions. Martel missed 3 public appearances that month, one of which was at a major Huntsville real estate conference where he was meant to be speaking with fellow developers. In a society where appearances count, you don't cancel unless something is truly wrong, especially for someone with Martel's reputation. Former co-star Marcel Scott even made an enigmatic comment when asked regarding Martel's disappearance in a podcast episode at the time. And laughing, let's just say he's been driving himself crazy, literally, he said. It could have been a joke to some, but to others, it was a covert clue that something significant had happened. The startling aspect is that Martel flatly denied the question months later when he was finally asked about the rumors on a radio interview. "There has been discussion on an incident involving you on the road," the host said. "Would you be kindly addressing that?" Martel answered simply, "People will talk. Let's focus on what's real." But what, in Martel's view, was real? One woman would come forward with a story that shook the globe as the pressure grew, and it was about responsibility, not only about an accident. Because silence simply helped to feed the gossip, a woman claimed that rekindled the whole debate exactly as supporters were beginning to go past the stories of Martel's mistakes and the internet rumors had calmed down. This time she had nothing to gain and everything to lose. She went on a Facebook Live broadcast sponsored by a Huntsville gossip podcaster using her alias Kayla M. It is not her actual name. Her words were enough to shock people online, even though she wasn't screaming for attention or showing Akaza on camera, flashing receipts. According to Kayla, she saw Martel Holt's second vehicle accident, which allegedly went unreported to the public, 2020. She says she was following Martel on a dark, twisting road just outside of Priceville when she saw his SUV start to swerve. She first thought he was avoiding something, but she watched his SUV collide with the guardrail as the car kept swerving to the left and right like someone trying to stay conscious. Concerned about the car blowing up, Kayla says she stopped and rushed to get to it. When she got to the driver's side and saw Martel slumped over the wheel, dazed, with a clear gash on his forehead, the scent, not the blood, stayed most in her mind. Saying, "I swear I smelled alcohol" during the live stream, she battled tears. "I'm not trying to ruin anybody's career. He didn't need to be driving, period." Kayla said Martel became agitated and refused medical help before the police could arrive, even though she called 911. 10 minutes later, 2 more unidentified men showed up in a black Escalade, helped Martel get out of the wrecked car, and then left it behind to head off with her. The most ridiculous aspect is Kayla's assertion that the men advised her against talking. "He's a public figure, you didn't see anything," they purportedly told her. "Get away from here." For months, Kayla stayed silent, but she claimed that the guilt tore at her, especially when she saw Martel keeping up inspirational material and appearances on reality TV as if nothing had happened. "That man could have killed someone that night," she said, "and I don't care who he is. Fame shouldn't erase consequences." And online critics were split now. Others, especially those in Huntsville who knew Martel personally, began making connections that made too much sense to overlook after Kayla was charged with lying for influence. Everyone was shocked when a reader responded, "I always wondered why he started letting Melody drive more on the show. This explains everything." Kayla claims she never was questioned or contacted by the police, and the crash report was sealed. She reasoned it was because someone pulling strings kept Martel's name off it. This finding set off a fresh round of internet indignation. Though it wasn't the end of the road, blogs grabbed it, YouTubers analyzed it, and even Melody, Martel's ex, was seen liking a lot of mysterious tweets suggesting that karma drives straight into you rather than coming in a crash. A few months later, a different voice, one much closer to Martel than anyone had expected, would surface, and their disclosure would transform rumors into reality. If Kayla's allegation rocked the internet, what followed totally destroyed the illusion of Martel Holt's perfect image, because the person coming forward this time was a member of Martel's own professional network who had worked with him, flown with him, and known of the secrets the cameras missed. Meet Rico B., almost 2-year personal assistant for Martel Holt and former business associate. Along with overseeing Martel's calendar, he handled producer correspondence and made sure everything ran behind the scenes without a hitch. He did more than just plan flights or grab coffee. Rico stayed quiet for some time, following the picture Martel presented like everyone else, but Rico decided it was time to speak out in a long interview on a YouTube podcast called Southern Spill Confidential after seeing the criticism Kayla endured and seeing Martel publicly deny and dodging the rumors. Rico unearthed one startling revelation after another. Though he spoke softly, his words had force. The accident happened. Saying that part is 100% true, he said, "I was one of the people who helped cover it over." According to Rico, Martel called him first, not the police or his attorney, after the late-night collision outside of Priceville. And by the time Rico arrived, Martel was clearly drunk, bleeding from his eyebrow and shaken. "Can't afford for this to get out. It'll ruin me," he said repeatedly. Rico recalled that he arranged for the car to be towed under a shell company Martel, which had been used for real estate transactions, within an hour following a third-party call from someone with legal ties in Huntsville. There was never a vehicle registered under Martel's name. Rico said that thanks to favors and private agreements, the crash report was handled off books. Here things start to spiral out of control. Rico said Martel had trouble running a motor vehicle in the past. He says there were at least 2 more near-miss incidents. One night, Martel allegedly struck a parked car and paid the owner cash to get out from under reporting requirements. Rico also attested to the fact that Martel later showed paranoia and cut back on public appearances. The last straw for Rico was his denial to drive to interviews and even to film portions of Love and Marriage Huntsville without a chauffeur. Martel's public denial of all transgression and acceptance of responsibility constituted the cover-up instead. He let Kayla be hauled, but he feigned nothing had happened. Worse still, he kept trying to present on television a flawless father figure image. Rico said he knew he had to go at that point and acted accordingly. Rico left Martel's team quietly in early 2021, but he claimed to have been monitoring events always since. He knew it was time for the truth to come to light when he observed Martel still posting as though nothing had happened, while others speculated about the accidents on the internet. People start listening the moment an insider confirms what supporters have been whispering about for years. Martel's group tried naturally to discredit Rico. A number of media sources received a statement refuting the assertions as completely false and slanderous. Martel even posted an enigmatic Instagram story under the heading "Lies Can't Live Forever, Truth Always Wins." But already the damage had been done. Everything started to make more sense once viewers began revisiting scenes, including Martel's odd actions, such as rubbing his temples, avoiding car readings, and arriving late without warning. Rico basically confirmed what we all saw, but couldn't prove. "Martel has been playing us for fools," said a tweet gone viral. The most ridiculous point follows. Rico kept speaking, suggesting that Martel's accident was not only a personal one, but also a result of years of hidden, more general pattern of reckless behavior. His next comments had nothing to do with cars and were totally related to Martel's drop from grace. If the car accident and Rico's insider confession weren't shocking enough, what followed totally broke the facade since, according to Rico and later supported by leaked text messages and voice memos, this was about a deeply ingrained pattern of behavior Martel Holt had managed to hide for years. Martel's car accident was the start of a series of negligent choices, not a single mistake. Through well-crafted lies and quiet payoffs, he was shown on television as the polished, successful businessman and father figure. Let us return a few months before the supposed crash, to the middle of 2020. Whether it was his messy divorce from Melody Sherry or his regular outbursts about marriage and love, in addition to his drinking, Martel's inner circle had already started to worry about his constant need to steer the conversation. Those who knew him well noticed that Martel was performing perfectly for the cameras while spiraling behind the scenes. Martel routinely gave staff orders to remove security camera footage, stay away from particular areas, or create false histories for his past whereabouts, Rico said. He was careful because he wanted no loose ends. Then the financial discrepancies came to light. According to Rico, Martel apparently went into a panic right before the crash over an upcoming commercial audit. Reports of dubious write-offs and untraceable expenses surfaced from his side business. an Atlanta real estate development company. Rico says Martel would regularly present lavish trips and gifts to clients as business meetings or client outreach. But things get messy here, since some of those gifts were allegedly given to women he had romantic relationships with, including 2 who have now come forward anonymously to claim they were instructed to keep quiet about private trips to Miami and Las Vegas during the epidemic's height. The way Martel managed crisis management is what makes this narrative particularly disturbing. Rico said there was an unwritten rule to never let the media define the narrative. This included paying hush money to friends who might have seen him drunk in public, bribing former assistants to sign non-disclosure agreements, and even calling bloggers to alter the story as needed. But that strategy is no longer working now that several people have spoken up. Blogger Miss K Talks posted an exclusive audio clip allegedly showing Martel arguing with a woman over money she never received following a car fall through. "You said you wouldn't say anything, now you're making noise." The man, whose voice matches Martel's tone and speech pattern, can be heard saying in the recording, "Look, after everything, remember the contract you signed." That video went over almost 600,000 views in just 48 hours, sparking a social media frenzy. After Martel's number went viral, Love and Marriage's fans were quick to review past storylines in view of the fresh disclosures. One viral post that said, "It all makes sense now," said, "Apart from Melody, Martel's ego was about hiding everything, including the crash, the other women, and the failed deal." Deceit and silence form the basis of this man's whole brand. Just as you felt things couldn't get any worse, the story of insurance fraud started to circulate. 2 unidentified direct messages to a well-known table state he reported a stolen car just a few weeks following the incident. Rico clarified that later on, a private auction presented the same car for sale under the shell company registered to one of Martel's business partners. One source claimed to have evidence showing the sale trail and that Martel pocketed tens of thousands, albeit this has not yet been independently confirmed. Opponents believe it conforms to Rico's pattern, reducing damage at all costs, even if it means using legal shortcuts. Unlike the usual celebrity scandal, this one incorporates dishonesty, manipulation, and a dangerous willingness to go to any length to protect one's reputation rather than only cheating or notoriety. The messiness and controversy of Martel are no more the only problems. Now, among the charges are legal misbehavior. Insiders now believe Martel might be in legal hot water for the accident, as well as the aftermath, which is even more severe than the hush money, reckless endangerment, and emotional manipulation of his staff and romantic partners. If any of the claimed activities included lying to the police or inflating insurance claims, an entertainment attorney speaking on condition of anonymity told Urban Truth Media Martel might be subject to severe charges, including fraud or obstruction. Spend a moment digesting that. We no longer are talking about a bad decision. Martel has not yet issued a thorough public statement, even though a criminal investigation could destroy all he has created, including real estate and reality TV. He continues to post filtered images, inspirational quotes, and gym selfies, much as nothing has happened, but the public is demanding responses and a storm is building behind the scenes.